What if going to church can cost you your home, your freedom, or even your life? Hey everyone, it's DinaKalmeta here, and today we're covering the newly released Open Doors World Watch list. And I have to warn you, the numbers are heartbreaking. Open Doors reports 388 million Christians face high levels of persecution and discrimination, about 1 in 7 worldwide. Last year, 4,849 lives were taken for faith-related reasons. 4,712 were detained, arrested, sentenced, or imprisoned. 224,129 were forced from their homes, into hiding, displaced, or had to flee their country. 3,632 churches or Christian public properties were attacked or closed, and 3,302 Christians were abducted. Those numbers are too large to even fathom. But what are the countries where the persecution was the highest for 2025? Number 1, North Korea makes the list again. Number 2, Somalia. Number 3, Yemen. Number 4, Sudan. Number 5, Eritrea. Number 6, Syria. Number 7, Nigeria. Number 8, Pakistan. Number 9, Libya. Number 10, Iran. Number 11, Afghanistan. India, 12. Saudi Arabia, 13. Myanmar, 14. Mali, 15. Burkina Faso, 16. China, 17. Iraq, 18. Maldives, 19. And Algeria, 20. Now, countries 21 through 50 include places like Morocco. Mexico was ranked at 30. That's surprising. Turkey was listed as 41. Cuba, 24. Colombia, 47. And Russia came in at 56. So they did not make the top 50 list this year. Previous years, in 2019, they were 41, and in 2020, they were 46. Those are the numbers, and those are the countries that are responsible. But these aren't just statistics. These are real people with real lives and real families that are suffering severe persecution. And here in the United States, we don't see that type of persecution. But eventually there will come a time where to be a Christian, it will be like being a criminal. You will not legally be able to be a Christian during the 7-year tribulation. Now, imagine our brothers and sisters, they're facing that type of persecution right now. Their tribulation is right now in some of these countries. North Korea, China, so on and so forth, as I read off to you. But to put it into a little bit more perspective, I'd like to take you to some headlines. First, in Pakistan, a report says that a church in Punjab was broken into early in the morning, where attackers smashed windows, overturned furniture, damaged instruments, and tore up Bibles and worship books. Next, Australia. A report argues that a country is reaching a moral flashpoint, with laws and cultural pressure increasingly restricting Christian perspectives in public debate. It points to expanding vilification standards where causing offense can trigger complaints, and references high-profile legal penalties connected to particular Bible passages while also noting pushback in regions. China, and this is serious, reports say that Chinese authorities detained multiple leaders and members tied to the underground Early Rain Covenant Church, part of a wider pattern of tightening control over unregistered churches. The message is clear. Independent faith outside state control will be punished in China. In the UK, a woman is reported to be the first charged under a national buffer law zone over standing and praying outside of a clinic. The case has drawn international attention, including public criticism from U.S. officials framing it as free speech and religious liberty issues. And still in China, another report claims that hundreds of Christians were caught up in raids in the Zhejiang province in mid-December, where heavy police presence and mass questioning and arrests. In Iran, reports say that 5 Christians received more than 50 years combined in prison sentences, with allegations tied to ordinary Christian practices like prayer, communion, baptisms, and celebrating Christmas, reflecting ongoing pressure against house churches. In India, an article citing that United Christian Forum claims anti-Christian violence has risen more than 500% over a decade, and says that between January and September 2025, there were 549 attacks, with only 39 leading to police investigators. Nicaragua Reports say tourists entering the country are being told that they cannot bring Bibles as part of a broader tightening at the border and increased pressure on churches and Christian activity. And based on recent reports, Nigeria is considered the epicenter of violent persecution against Christians, with estimates indicating that roughly 70 to 80% of Christians have lost their lives due to their faith worldwide. So Nigeria is leading this. Persecution International is reporting that nearly 162 incidents of anti-Christian hate speech was recorded in India in 2025. Persecution is reporting that a Christian traditional ruler perished due to an ambush on January 5th while returning to his village in central Nigeria state, adding to a pattern of attacks targeting Christian leadership in rural communities across the Middle Belt. A Colombian pastor lost his life on New Year's Eve. Pastor Jose Otonio Ortega was reportedly attacked by 3 armed attackers in the Santa Elena neighborhood just for being a pastor. He was 54 years old and was celebrating the new year with his wife and children when his life was violently taken. In Myanmar, public hearings began in a case before the International Court of Justice concerning Myanmar's treatment of the ethno-religious minority community. In 2016, Myanmar's military launched a genocide against this community that continues to this day alongside attacks on numerous other religious and minority groups, such as the Christian majority Chin people. And while our brothers and sisters suffer severe persecution around the world, there have been some shockwaves here in the United States. Do I even need to mention what happened in Minnesota? Protesters on Sunday stormed a Baptist church to disrupt the services of a pastor whom they accused of being affiliated with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. This mob of individuals walked into a Southern Baptist Convention church in Minneapolis and disrupted the worship service, which is supposed to be protected, by the way. Now, of course, a investigation has been implemented, so we'll see what happens. But that's one example. Here's another example. A teacher in Kansas, in fact, at the Children Marshall Elementary School in Eureka, Kansas, were given an assignment to write about their heroes. Their class was conducted by their guidance counselor, Casey Countryman. It was part of a project for the 6th graders called Find Your Voice. One of the children said that Charlie Kirk was their hero. The teacher became incredibly uncomfortable and told the child that Charlie was not a hero. Another mentioned President Trump. At that point, the teacher became enraged and stated that the children could not include political figures. Yet another student said their role model was Jesus Christ. And the teacher said that religious figures were not allowed as part of the role model naming activity. So now they're saying that not even Jesus can be your hero in the United States. And they're teaching this to children in the 6th grade. Now, if you don't like President Trump, you don't like his politics, okay, whatever. But Jesus, the fact of the matter is, America is supposed to be a place of freedom of speech and freedom of religion. And that is being suffocated right now. So no, we do not suffer like our brothers and sisters do in some of these other nations. But we have been seeing discrimination and persecution of Christians rise here in the United States. Now, I have covered Christian persecution almost every year, probably for the last 10 years. So I'm going to make sure to leave a link to last year's report. And in there, you will see persecution that has occurred or discrimination that has occurred here in the United States. So with that said, what does the Bible say about Christian persecution? How are we to handle it? And was this prophesied? And yes, in fact, it was. 2 Timothy 3:12 tells us, "Yea, all that will live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution." John 15:18, "If the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you." Matthew 5:44, Jesus said, "But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless those that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which spitefully use you and persecute you." Matthew 5:10, Jesus also said, "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." In Luke 6:22, "Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. When you see this much persecution, you realize how real the spiritual battle is. But the Bible also tells us how to stand. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 says that we may be persecuted, but not forsaken, cast down, but not destroyed. And 1 Peter 3:14 reminds us, if you suffer for righteousness' sake, you are blessed. Do not fear their threats, nor be troubled. So today, we're not just reporting the headlines. We're also remembering that God sees, God knows, and one day God will judge righteously. One day, every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, and God always keeps his promises. But those are your headlines for today. I want to hear from all of you, so please do leave your comments below. Also, when you have some time, come and visit me on my social media pages, as well as my website at www.cww7news.com. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, God bless and stay safe.